You wouldn't build a house without a foundation, so why try to build a business without one? Grow your contracting business and grow your mind with Growth Mindset Monday.
Here we are again. It's a beautiful Monday. Welcome to Mindset Monday. I'm your host, Garrett Bake, founder of the American Contractor Network and the Build Pro community. We are here in conjunction with our friends over at Contractor Plus. Now, if you're just joining us for the first time, you're probably trying to figure out what in the hell is this guy doing? Don't worry, we got you covered. Let's start here, though. If you're joining us for the first time or you're a repeat, you know the drill. Drop your name, your business name, and where you're from. We'll give you a nice little shout out. Daniel, numero uno again, 2 weeks in a row. Well done, my friend. Daniel with Noble Custom Glass and Mirror, checking in from the mobile office. Happy Monday. We've got Michael Babbitt, BMF Services, Charlevoix, Michigan. He's a fence contractor. Welcome to the show. We've got Motivated Laborers. Peace, my motivated nation. I like motivated. That's good. That's a good thing. Edward Schwartz with ES Handy Services out of Zolfo Springs, Florida. We got Jesse from Jesse James Outlaw Electric from Grantsville, Utah. It's such an interesting thing, right? This morning, when I had a conversation with Justin, the first thing out of our mouths were, "Hey man, how's your weekend? What are you doing today?" You know, that kind of stuff, which is typical. And it's interesting when you have to stop and think about it, right? Because you're like, wow, there's a lot of things happening right now, but like, what's the thing on my plate? Funny, not funny. The topic today has a lot to do with the same thing that Justin and I were talking about, which is a team, right? Our team, like he lost somebody, I'm growing my team. And there's a lot that goes into that whole process of identifying, one of these days I'll say it right, identifying, finding, hiring, training the right candidates, right? The right team as you continue to build. We got a couple more folks here. We got Joseph with MJ Plumbing out of Salt Lake and Utah County. Julie Maines with Burton's Plumbing. We got Stacy Owen with Grade Solutions and Marcus M. Savage Services Plumbing out of the great state of Florida. Now, here's the question we got to ask ourselves. Do we truly believe that we're the only ones that struggle with employees? Do we truly believe that we're the only ones that can't find qualified candidates? Do we believe that we're the only ones that have employees that don't perform at the level that we expect them to perform at? Well, the truth is no. The truth is, I don't care what kind of business you run, whether you're a trade business owner or a contractor, doesn't matter. In fact, I'll take it one step further. It doesn't matter what type of business you run, whether you're a financial company, you own a garage company, you own a flower shop, a doctor's office, you sell mortgages. It doesn't matter what kind of business you own. You're going to deal with employee issues. Over the years, I've had a couple of jobs before I became a police officer. When I first got married, and I was working at a lumber yard in northern Arizona. It was quite the experience, driving all over the place, delivering materials. In fact, one time I drove some stuff to the top of a mountain to a Forest Service observatory. That was kind of fun. But it was interesting because guess what? I was an employee there, and what did I have to deal with? Well, the other employees that either didn't show up or weren't pulling their weight, things like that. I then worked at a company that created those small discs for semiconductors. Yeah, that's what they created. They manufactured. So it's a manufacturing company. And there I was in the department that was in charge of all of the plans. So we had digital plans that we would have to print out and provide to vendors or provide to engineers or provide to the people that were making this stuff. Then I started my own business, right? Worked at a window washing company, I should say, is what we started. And I had no clue what I was doing there, right? I had no employees. I was the employee. And then I became a police officer, and I was one of hundreds, almost thousands. And so over the years, I've experienced this idea of employees, right? And what does it actually look like? And the sad truth is it's the same across the board. Like, it doesn't matter the type of business you have, you're going to have issues. Like right now, if I was to ask you, what's your biggest issue when it comes to employees? What would you say? Go ahead and drop it in the comments. Your biggest issue when it comes to employees. What is it? Drop it in the comments. I'll tell you what mine is. Mine is always the employee that waits to be told what to do instead of doing the thing that needs to get done. That's my biggest issue, right? When I set out a thing to do, whether that's create a video or onboard a new client or whatever the thing is, I end up having to give more instructions than I should have to. And so I expect things to happen throughout the day. End of the day, I check on my employees and things haven't been done. Or even worse, my Slack channel, which is our communication portal, blows up with questions about, well, how am I supposed to do this? And how do you want this done? And how do you want that? And at the end of the day, I'm just rubbing my head going, you should already know this. We've talked about it. You've got all the steps. You've got all the tools. You understand the process. Why aren't you getting it done? Stacy says, lack of drive. How many of you guys deal with employees that have a lack of drive, right? I know I do. I just mentioned it, right? Again, they just do the bare minimum to get by. So I want you to think about it this way, right? I want you to think about your employees like an engine, okay? So you're driving a high performance machine, right? I don't know if you guys have ever driven, Lambo, Ferrari, or any of those fun things. I've never owned one. Truth is, I probably never will. They're not my thing, but it doesn't mean I don't like driving them. So one year we went down to Vegas, and in Vegas, you can do driving experiences, they call them. You can drive a Lambo, a Ferrari, all these different types of vehicles. Sure, it's only for a few minutes and it costs a few $100, but totally worth it. So we went down and we had to wait our turn. There was literally like hundreds of people, and finally get to the car. The first lap, they put me in the passenger seat with the driver, and he's instructing me. Okay, so here's how you shift. They have paddle shifters, which is kind of cool. This is how you shift. This is how you take corners. This is how you accelerate. They're kind of giving you the basics of this first lap. And it's not just a circular lap. It's got, ins and outs and whatnot. The next lap, we switch seats. Now I'm driving, right? So I'm going through trying to figure out how to use this high performance engine. Like, when do you shift? How do you shift? Do you upshift? Do you downshift? What does this whole thing look like, right? Second lap was a whole lot of learning. The third lap, though, oh man, all bets were off. Like, we were rolling, right? In fact, I may or may not have almost driven the thing off the track, but that's a story for a different time. But ultimately, to hear that engine running at high performance, seeing how it performed and responded instantly, whether I hit the gas, took my foot off the gas. There was no lag. There was no stall. It was just precision, and it was just power, right? Let's contrast that with one of my first vehicles. So my dad had a 1985 Toyota pickup. Now, Toyota's a great pickup, but when I got this thing my senior year of high school, I was super excited. I'm like, man, I get to be rolling. I don't have to take the bus or carpool. I got my own car. It was maroon in color, single cab, 1985 Toyota pickup, right? So I'm cruising around, right? By the way, it was manual as well. So you guys who have driven manual before know what I'm talking about. So I'm cruising around, right? But for some reason, I couldn't get it to go as fast as I wanted to go. For some reason, I couldn't get it to shift and turn as fast as I wanted it to. Why? because it was a 1985 Toyota pickup, manual, 4-speed. Like, it wasn't meant to drive fast. It wasn't meant to go fast. It wasn't meant to shift fast. It was just meant to just barely get the job done. And it required a lot of work on my behalf to make it work, right? So it was a little sluggish, a little shaky, right? When I was trying to accelerate off the line, as you will, you had to get the clutch and the gas just right, right? And I hardly ever did. I never went anywhere fast, and I never really went anywhere far, right? So think about it this way. How is your crew, your team, whether it's one guy or 100, how is your crew or your team performing right now? Are they performing like a high performance engine, or are they performing like a 1985 Toyota pickup, right? Like just barely getting the job done. A little sluggish, right? A little clanky, if you will, but ultimately they get it done, but just barely, right? You're like, I got from point A to point B, but that was not an enjoyable experience. Like, I wouldn't drive that car more than 5 miles. Why? It was damn uncomfortable. Okay. So this is what we're talking about when we're looking at a team. And I use the term all the time, a high performance team, right? In fact, I teach a class for the Home Builders Association titled How to Build a High Performance Team. But when it all comes down to it, okay, you're not actually looking for a high performance team to start off with. Let's just be straight, okay? You're not looking for a high performance team to start off with. But what is it that you're looking for? Right? What are you looking for in a team? So let me kind of start it off with this. And I see this across the board. Again, it doesn't matter where you are in the US. It doesn't matter what type of business you run. Guess what? Machines run on systems, not guesswork. Let me repeat that. Machines run on systems, not guesswork. So we've got Drew here who says training as being the issue that he sees with his team. And then we take lack of drive with Stacy, okay? But machines run on what? They run on systems, not guesswork. Every machine has rules and processes on how it works. If you do this, then this will happen, right? The more higher performance of a team, the more moving parts, but it doesn't change the foundation. Whether it's a manual 1985 Toyota pickup or it's a 2025 Lamborghini, it functions exactly the same. Every machine has rules and processes. So guess what? Your crew needs systems and processes first. Your job as the business owner, if you're having issues with people showing up on time, lack of motivation and drive, having to go back and redo work, it's not an employee issue. It's a machine issue, right? So think about, what do I need to put in place to make this more of a machine? It could be, when you're starting out, something simple like a daily huddle. And a daily huddle is no more than, all right, guys, here's what we're doing today. Here's how we're doing it. Here's the role that everyone's playing to get it done. That's simple. Okay. It could be job site checklists that create rhythm and flow, right? So you have a very simple checklist that says, hey, water heaters, step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for removing the old one. Step 1 through 10, installing the new one. Step 1 through 5 to double check and make sure everything was done right. It sounds complicated. I get it. It sounds tedious. I get it. And it sounds like something you don't want to do. I also get it. I'm currently in the process of creating a new position. I had my assistant who was my office manager, and then she was also social media manager, running my email campaigns, and my Build Pro community manager. She's doing all these things. And I realized she's at capacity. So I've got to split these two roles out and now hire for a new role. Well, guess what? The first thing I got to do is create clear roles and responsibilities, clear expectations, clear, here's what you're expected to do on a daily basis. Here's what you're expected to do on a weekly basis. Because if I don't have that lined out clear so it can run like a machine, it will never run like a machine, period. Here's what you need to understand. If you don't set the standard, guess what? Your crew is going to set it for you, period. Number 2, not everyone fits in the machine. I like to watch those car restoration shows, right? Where they take a 1965 Ford Mustang and then they put, a big block Chevy engine in it and they switch out the tires and the rims and paint and the interior and upgrade it. And it looks freaking amazing, right? If you had me do that, I would probably put the wrong engine, connect the wrong pieces in the wrong parts, right? And ultimately it wouldn't be a high performing machine. It would be a POS. And nobody likes POSs, right? But understand this. Not everyone fits the machine. Not everyone fits the machine. This is the hardest thing you will ever face as you're growing your business, because you might have 1, 2, or 5 guys that have been with you since the beginning, right? They've been with you for 5, 10, 20 years. And you're like, man, they're really loyal. I really love them. I could never let go of them. I could never fire them. And that's the reason your business runs the way it runs. I had a conversation with my buddy Adam the other day. We went on what we call a little walk and talk, right? And we were just catching up on things, part of that being his business. And we had a conversation 12 months ago about the fact that until he hires the right project manager, not his buddy who's been with him for 10 years, until he hires the right project manager, his business will be stuck because he's going to have to continue to be running jobs, which he does not like to do. And he acknowledged it, right? Again and again and again. Well, guess what? Last week, he said, hey, I'm finally interviewing for that position. I'm like, thank the good Lord, right? Because he realized that that guy was not the right guy for the position, okay? A great system with the wrong people still breaks down. It still breaks down, right? So you need the right people, but you need them in the right seats, right? If you put me in charge of your books, I don't care how much you're paying me a year, $500,000, $1 million. There's going to be problems, probably big ones, because I'm not a numbers guy and I'm going to screw something up, right? So as much as you may like me, I'm not your guy. And you have to be comfortable with that. Daniel has a comment. He said, I'd say our biggest struggle right now is maintaining a consistent level of morale, lack of vision and accountability. This is stemming from the top down though, working on it. Thanks for sharing that, Daniel. And you're right. It does stem from the top down. No vision, no direction. Where do you expect your people to go? They're going to go wherever the hell they want to, or wherever they think to, or nowhere at all. Well said. Well said. So understand this. At some point, hopefully in the near future, you're going to have to look at your crew. You're going to have to look at your guys, and you're going to have to say, are these the right people? Frankly, are they the right people? And if they're not, you can call it a difficult decision, or you can call it an easy decision. If they're not going to take me where I want to go and they don't want to go there, they're not the right people. I need to go find somebody else. And be comfortable with that and be okay with that. The third thing, once you have the right people in the right seats, understand that your job is not to micromanage. Your job is not to tell them what to do. When I was working as a police officer, I got selected for our undercover squad. And I had some of the best times of my life working that squad. Best times of my life, right? Great guys, super skilled, right? They were amazing. But what I didn't like is the supervisor over that squad micromanaged. He wanted to know what you were doing, when you were doing it, how you were doing it. He wanted a daily update. He was always trying to correct what you were doing because he wanted it done a certain way. And it was a horrible environment. Like, the guys were great, but that environment was horrible. And it wasn't until the next supervisor came around that I realized how big of a difference it would make. Because the next supervisor held us accountable. The next supervisor gave us a clear outcome, but he stayed out of the weeds because he realized that him constantly micromanaging us was going to limit our ability to perform. So we came together and we said, what are we doing? We all agreed. And his job was to give us resources and then hold us accountable. And he did a damn good job of it. And we had success, right? I look at my employees now, and I have two types of employees, full transparency. I have employees who wait to be told what to do, and I have employees who take the bull by the horns and they run with it. And that's one of the reasons that we're going through this transition right now, because we're having to remove people who don't fit our culture, who don't fit where we're going as a business, and who need to be micromanaged. I don't want to micromanage. I didn't start a business so I could micromanage. I started a business to create freedom. And if I'm micromanaging, there ain't no freedom. Last piece. Machines need maintenance. Think about it this way. How often do you got to take your car in to get serviced? Every 3,000, 5,000, 7,000 miles? But why? Why do you have to take it in? It's a machine. It should run, right? But machines wear down. Machines wear out. You might have a recall issue, right? There's things that need to be done to a machine that we consider regular maintenance, or heaven forbid, something happens and we have to deal with it. Okay. So think about it this way. Your weekly team meetings, which if you're not having them, shame on you. Your weekly team meetings, think about them like oil changes for your business, right? What is the purpose of them? It's encouraging feedback. It's making sure everyone's on the same page. Hell, I love when my employees tell me that this thing isn't working. I'm like, great. Why is it not working? And better yet, what solution do you have to make it work better? But those conversations only happen if there's regular meetings. The second thing, track performance. Every single person in your organization can be tracked, their performance. And I don't mean just the GPS, whether they made it to the job on time or not, right? I'm talking about performance. If you want a higher standard, set the standard and then track against the standard. You expect your people to be at the warehouse at 8 o'clock to pick up materials and supplies? Cool. Start tracking it. It's your fault if you're not tracking it. You can't hold somebody to account, somebody accountable to something that they don't know that they're accountable to, or even worse, that you're not holding them accountable to, right? You guys are setting that standard. Now, there's probably some questions. By the way, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and drop them in here. This is your opportunity to get some free answers around building a team. Listen, by the way, we've deployed these strategies with companies that are $250K a year and companies that are 25 million a year. So don't tell me it doesn't work for you. So if you got questions, drop them. I want to hear them. I want to give you some solutions. But this is what I'll tell you. A lot of you guys are worried about what's next. Look, so what do I do? What if I have 15, 20 employees and they don't have motivation or drive? What if I have 3 employees and I want to hire an office manager? Well, what do I do next, right? We don't have time to go through all those things. This is what I'll tell you, super simple and easy. If you're not part of our Build Pro community, which there's a few of you on here that are, join our Build Pro community. You get free 7 days and it's $97 a month after that. So $97 a month to learn how to run your business the right way. I don't know what else to tell you, right? I appreciate you showing up here and I love to have you guys here. But this is only going to get you so far because we have 30 minutes a week. Yeah, I'll get you a little fire underneath your ass. And sure, you might get a tip or trick, something that you need to implement. But ultimately, you need a game plan, okay? So where do we start with the team? Number one is clear roles and responsibilities. My definition of an office manager is different than yours. It's not good or bad. It's just the reality. So you need a definition of the position that you're hiring for. 2, figure out where the good people are. Quit hiring the people that got a heartbeat or a pulse or they just show up. That's great. But are they the people that we need? Okay. You can train a monkey to turn a wrench. Find the people that fit your culture, that fit your values, right? Those are the people that you can mold because they already have underneath what it is that you're looking for anyway. Number 3, your training process. I can't tell you how important this is. You may be 80% confident, maybe 50% confident on this person working out. Don't waste your time. A very simple training process that within a few days, at most a few weeks, you know whether they're the right person or not. What's that training process? 3 simple steps. Okay. Number 1, watch me do it. Now, if it's concrete, well, how long should it take them to figure out how to lay concrete or how to finish concrete? I don't know. If they got experience, not that long, right? But you figure out, is it a 1-day thing? Is it a 1-hour thing? You put the timeline on it. Number 2, do it with me, right? We work together to figure out how to make this thing happen. And During that time, I'm going to coach you. I'm going to give you some things that you might want to adjust or change. And I'm watching to see if you're actually taking that and implementing it, or are you continuing to make the same mistakes? And then number 3, now you do it. You're going to pour your own pad of concrete. I'm going to pour mine. I'm going to come back and I'm going to look at yours, right? I'm going to see if you've taken all the things that I've shown you and given you and actually done something with it. Okay. At the end of the day, your job is to determine whether the people are right for you or not. And the only way you do that is through a training program. So very simple. Okay. Going back to the foundation. If you want your business to run like a high performance car, you got to have high performance parts. The only way you do that is very clear. Who am I looking for? Very clear hiring process, very clear onboarding and training process that's helping you filter through the bad ones to get to the good ones. All right. End of the day, you guys know your success is your responsibility. We're here to help. We have tools, we have systems, we have processes. We have things that can help you get to where you want to get to. But if you want success, true success in your business, you got to roll up your sleeves and you got to get to work. A team is an important part of that, right? But a team only works under the direction of the leader. And if you're that leader, good. If you're not that leader, become that leader. All right, we dropped the link for the Build Pro community inside of the chats. You can see it there. You can go ahead and check out a little bit about what it is that we're doing, and we'd love to have you inside of there. But listen, end of the day, I want you to succeed. I really do. But I can't do it for you. Regardless of the tools, regardless of the systems, regardless of the frameworks, regardless of the kick in the pants, at the end of the day, it's all up to you. So you know what time it is. It's time to get after it. 3, 2, 1, off you go.